Hello everyone, and welcome to this Uska News Water News video podcast. In November 2016, the first Global Water Stewardship Forum met in Scotland, the Hydro Nation, convened by the Alliance for Water Stewardship. Experts from more than 20 countries met in sunny Edinburgh for 2 full days with representatives from governments, large and small corporations, NGOs, finance and civil society. The forum was designed to advance global understanding and impacts of water stewardship and contribute to the further development of the global AWS Water Stewardship Standard. Uska News reported on the forum, and I had an opportunity to speak to several key participants. Welcome, Dale Phenicie. I wonder if we could start by asking you to describe who you are, who you represent, and what brings you to the forum this week in Edinburgh.
Good. Nice to be here. My name is Dale Phenicie. I am the Technical and Projects Director for the Council of Great Lakes Industries. That's an industry trade association headquartered in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and our members are industrial companies in both U.S. and Canada. In other words, we're a binational trade association. We're also multi-sector, so we're a little unusual. We're not just a trade association of certain manufacturers, but essentially all heavy manufacturing within the Great Lakes region. So our members are primary manufacturers or trade associations that they belong to, and our mission is to work on water policy issues within the Great Lakes region. Great Lakes, of course, has 20% of the world's fresh water, and we want to make sure that industry has continued access to that water, and of course, you secure that through sustainable practices.
And because of that geography, huge swathes of industry in that part of the world must be very aware of water stewardship as a business imperative.
Well, that's right, and all of those companies and industries that operate there have various water conservation programs or water efficiency programs. And I guess the next question is, what does it take to bring that up to a real water stewardship level of activity?
And you were involved in beta testing during planning stages of the AWS standard, I believe.
That's correct. We launched a project several years ago to examine the water use tools that are out there for the purpose of helping industry be able to describe its water use practices and be able to demonstrate that they were doing them in a good, sustainable way. And at about that time, the Alliance for Water Stewardship standard was under development. So we wanted to test that and see if perhaps that particular tool had some advantages that maybe the others didn't have. One of the problems is there are a number of tools out there, and it's difficult to decide which one is best to use, or in our case, we kind of wanted to settle on one that we thought fit the circumstances in the Great Lakes region best.
And that's how the relationship with AWS started, I guess.
It was, and so it was a test to see, just how does it work, and how, in particular, how does it work in a context with big industry, self-supply. In other words, we're not getting water from municipal supplies. The companies are withdrawing their own sources, their own supplies, and how does it fit in that particular situation? That area of Great Lakes region also has a very robust governance system, so there's lots of regulatory activities that take place. There's lots of surveillance of the water system, and so again, how does the Alliance for Water Stewardship standard fit in to a situation like that, where it's high water use, self-supply, heavy industry, robust water governance system already in place, and also an ethic of good, efficient water use.
It must have been a very interesting learning experience.
Well, it really was, and we spent about 3 years working through the whole project. Not all of that time was working with the AWS standard, but we spent a lot of effort on it, yes. The project was funded by the Great Lakes Protection Fund, and we were fortunate to secure that funding so we could do the project.
This week, and the forum has marked a milestone in the development of this association, being the inaugural World Global Water Stewardship Forum. Has this also been a learning experience? What are your takeaways?
Yeah, this has been a very interesting session here because we, of course, drew several conclusions from our work, and I get a chance to compare those conclusions with what I'm hearing from other people here as they've gained experience with the standard, and they fit very well. Basically, what we learned was that the water stewardship framework that's in the AWS standard seemed very reasonable. It asked the right questions, it's looking for the right information. Now the question that comes from that, though, is how do you supply that information? In many cases, that information has already been provided to stakeholders and to government agencies and whatnot. So the question is, how can we make use of that information that's already out there, rather than have to sit down and generate a whole new set of information in order to put into a standard evaluation process. Just what role does the governance system play in this whole assessment of sustainable water use in the area, and things like that. And what I'm hearing is that many other people have the same questions, perhaps from different perspectives in different ways, but it boils down to we all are trying to find ways to fit our particular circumstances into the standard evaluation process.